how's it going? My name is Heather, and today I am doing my January book haul. So with my January book haul, I actually filmed part of it back like a week or two ago when I had gotten a bunch of books in, and then I realized that it was out of focus, and I'm like, I should refilm that. And now it's taken me this long to get around to refilming it, so now I have a ton more books to show you guys. I will try to go through everything pretty quickly. January was a pretty big month. Okay, so the first books that I'm going to just quickly go over are some of the books that I got in my monthly subscription boxes, which was Fairy Loot, Owl Crate, and Shelf Love. So in Fairy Loot, we received The Cruel Prince by Holly Black. This is the regular white cover. This is the standard edition. There's also a Barnes & Noble one that is black. And then in Owl Crate, we received The Cruel Prince by Holly Black. This is the Owl Crate exclusive cover. It is purple and it has a throne and everything on it. It's a really cool cover. I like it a lot. I like that it's very different from the regular cover as well. So in The Cruel Prince, I'll try and sum it up for you guys. We follow the main girl and her two sisters, and their parents are killed by a fae, and then the fae takes them to go live in kind of the fae realm area, and he raises them as his own. And as they grow up, the main girl that we follow really wants to be accepted by this society, but she is human and faes hate pretty much all things human, so he has a really hard time with that. And I know that there is a prince in here. That's pretty much all I know about it. I'm really horrible at summing this one up. I'm sorry. But it does sound really, really interesting. Holly Black is like the queen of all things fae and fairy, so I'm really excited to read this one. I'm reading it in February. In the Shelf Love crate, we received Reign of the Fallen. This one's really, really cool. It's about a girl who is a necromancer, and when a member of the royalty dies, her job is to go and get them from this like shadow realm and bring them back to be revived. And on their journey from the shadow realm back to the realm of like the living, they have to be covered in this shroud from like head to foot. And there's a person going around who is tearing the shrouds off of these people, and it makes you into this shade, and you become just this horrible evil monster sort of person. And so her and the whole necromancer community are like trying to figure out what the heck is going on and why somebody is doing this, and it just sounds really cool and dark and so much fun. And I love that it sounds like so dark and sinister, but the cover is all like light and pink and girly. Like, I think that's just the funniest thing. I love it. This one is also on my February TBR. Okay, so I have a couple little things that I'm gonna go ahead and show you guys before I get into any of the books. I got some really cool bookish goodies in January. I got a bunch of bookmarks. I ordered this bookmark offline. It is a 3D bookmark. When I got it, the two pieces came apart and like folded all the way open, and I didn't quite like that. So I did end up gluing it together, but it's really neat. It has this butterfly on the top, and I love butterflies, so it's so, so cute. So a friend of mine recently ordered a bunch of bookmarks online, and she got doubles of pretty much all of them. So she went ahead and gave me all of her doubles. They are super cool. She got these whale ones, and they're all cutouts and shapes of the whales. And they're just really, really neat, and they're really pretty. I love them a lot. They have this real cool like watercolor design to them. She also ordered a bunch where they are feathers cut out, and I have one hanging here as well, along with one of the whales on my little guy right there. But they're so cool and they're so pretty. She had also ordered some bookmarks for me for my birthday. They're really cool. They come in this little pouch, and it has the Gringotts Bank on the front, and then the bookmarks themselves look like this. And they have the Hogwarts crest, and then there's also one for each of the house crests as well. So these are really, really cool. I love these a lot. The last little item that is not a book that I'm gonna show you guys are these super cool Funko Pops. This is some Lilo and Stitch Funko Pops. This is a 3-pack. It has Stitch, Scrump, which is Lilo's doll, and then it has Angel. They're so, so cool. A friend of mine found this at the local Value Village, so it was a steal of a deal, and of course it is awesome. I think I'm gonna try and start collecting some kind of obscure Disney movie Funko Pops next, because I have all of the Kingdom Hearts ones, and of course I'm working on the Harry Potter ones, but now I need some other ones to kind of branch out into. So Lilo and Stitch and other smaller titles like that I think are what I'm gonna try and go for. Okay, so on to the books. Back in December, I was doing book to movie adaptations for my TBR, and at the beginning of January, I found out that there was a movie coming out called The Mortal Engines, and so I had ordered a copy off of a used book online site, like Abe Books or whatever it was. And the book that I got in wasn't in horrible condition, but it wasn't quite in as good of condition as I would have liked. And it was not the cover, the print that I had expected when I purchased it. So I went ahead and I ordered a brand new copy off of the Book Depository. So this is my new copy of The Mortal Engines by Philip Reeve. I think I'm saying that right. It's really, really pretty. It's super cool. I absolutely love the dust jacket on this one. This is the signed and numbered limited edition. So on the inside it is signed, and it says this is number 2,925 out of 3,000. So that is pretty cool. Like, not entirely necessary, but it's really, really cool and it's really pretty, and I could not help myself because I have a problem. It's pretty. So the next few books that I have are ones that I had previously owned, and I had them in paperback, and I don't like buying paperbacks. I normally only do it if I cannot find a hardback and I want to read the next book in the series. So yeah, I recently went through and looked at which books I had in paperback and need to replace with hardbacks, and so I ordered them. So I got Destined and Hidden by P.C. and Kristen Cast. This is the 9th and the 10th of the House of Night series. So yes, these two were just ones that I needed to replace. So I also picked up new copies of Tithe and Valiant. A friend of mine recently got me the Ironside, which is the third book in the series, in hardback, and so I figure I should probably replace these two as well. These are the newer editions, so they do look a little bit different than my Ironside does, but that's okay. They're all on hardback. These are also by Holly Black, who wrote The Cruel Prince. The last one that I picked up that was a replacement for a paperback was Inferno by Sherilyn Kenyon. This is the 4th book in the Chronicles of Nick series. One of the things that I have a problem with is I see a series on sale and the books are really cheap, and so I end up buying them, and so I'll end up buying them just kind of randomly and collecting them until I have the whole series, and then I'll try and sit down and read the whole series in like a marathon. So the next couple books that I have are books that are not the first book in the series, but it's not a series that I've read either, so I'm not going to be giving any descriptions on them. First one I have is The Golden Sun by Pierce Brown. A new book just came out, and I think it's a spin-off of this series. There's our trilogy. This is a trilogy. The first one being Red Rising, Golden Sun, and the third one is Morning Star. And then the new book just came out called Iron Gold, I believe. So this is a really, really popular trilogy, and I've heard a lot of great things about it, of course. And so it's one that I wanted to get into, but I did not have this second book. I have Red Rising and I have Morning Star, but I didn't have this, so I picked it up. So the next one I picked up was Never Fade by Alexandra Bracken. This is the Darkest Minds series. I know I've mentioned this before. I was missing this one, so now I have the whole thing. So now I can like read it in good conscience, because I kept putting The Darkest Minds on my TBR and then I kept not reading it. So now I have no excuse. Okay, so the next few that I got are ones that I ordered off of Book Outlet, so which means that I got them for super cheap and I just couldn't help myself. I could not resist. So I ordered The Book Jumper, which kind of has like an Inkheart sort of vibe to it. So the main girl and her mom end up moving to Germany to live with like her grandma, and her grandma insists on her reading, and she finds out that she is a book jumper, which means she can literally go into a story and like experience that story firsthand. So like I said, kind of Inkheart sort of vibes. So she ends up finding out that somebody is stealing from the books that she's visiting, and she teams up with another book jumper to kind of figure out what is going on. So the next book that I picked up on Book Outlet was The Song of the Current. So in this book, we follow our main girl, and in her family, they are called by the river god. Every generation, they are called by the river god to go on an adventure, I guess. And so she's 17 and she has not heard the call, and so now she's worried that she's never going to hear that call. So her dad ends up getting arrested because he ferries cargo to various places and he refuses to ship a certain piece of cargo. And so they're like, hey, you're arrested. And she's like, wait, I will take it upon myself to ferry this cargo to wherever it is it's going. And unfortunately, it's super shady and she ends up getting involved with a lot of politics and intrigue. And I'm pretty sure there's like pirates that are after her, and she ends up going on this like crazy adventure with another person as well. I'm pretty sure there's a love interest in here that goes with her, and yes, I don't know a whole lot about this one. It sounded really interesting, and I know that there was a bookish subscription service that had this in their box just like a couple months ago, I want to say. So I figured I would go ahead and pick it up and give it a shot. I absolutely love the cover on this. It's swirly and it's sparkly and it's so pretty. So I hope it's good. It sounds interesting. I'm really horrible at explaining it. Okay. I also got Roar. Again, I'm pretty sure this was in a bookish subscription box or two just a couple months ago. But this is about a young girl whose family has settled this area and kind of become the rulers of it, and they were able to do so because they control storms. They have a magical ability to it where they can control weather and storms and stuff like that, and they keep this town, this village that they have settled safe from storms and such. So the main girl does not have this magical ability, and she's like, crap. What am I gonna do? And her mom's like, I don't know. I'm gonna marry you off to some neighboring guy because he does have magical ability and you should be safe with him and will be safe now because of that alliance. So she ends up being stuck between like a rock and a hard place. It's either you marry this guy or you run off and abandon everyone. But she ends up coming across a black market where she finds out that this magical ability isn't just something that you have to be inherited with. You can harness a storm's power, the storm itself, and take that power for yourself. So she kind of ends up finding this third option, which just sounds really cool. It's an interesting sounding magic system and the way things work, and I think it sounds really neat, and I cannot wait to read it. I'm pretty sure there's going to be a sequel coming out for this a little bit later this year. So the next book that I have is one that a friend found for me at a local used bookstore, and that is Tiger's Curse by Colleen, and I cannot say her last name, H-O-U-C-K. Hoke? Colleen Hoke. I don't know if I'm saying that right. So it is about a girl who ends up going on this quest to break a 300-year-old Indian curse along with a tiger. So I haven't read a lot of books that have like animal companions, let alone like sentient animal companions from what I'm understanding. But she goes on this adventure through like all sorts of worlds and magic and just a lot of really cool stuff going on. I've heard it's a really great series. There are, I want to say like 4 or 5 books at least in this series. It is an older series, but my friend had found 2 copies of this at a local used bookstore. She picked one up for herself and one for me as well. So I'm super excited to read this. It sounds really different and really cool. So the next book that I picked up was Matched. This is an older series. This is, I want to say back from like 2010 or something like that. It's an older series, but it is about a girl, and in this world everything is decided for you. Who you're gonna marry, what job you're gonna have, everything is pretty much decided for you. And so she's at an age where she goes to be evaluated, I guess, to see who it is that she should marry. And the face that pops up on the screen is a lifelong friend, and she's like, good, I can be happy with this person. But then before she leaves, another face flashes on the screen as well. And so now she's kind of torn between, do I go with the first choice that it showed me, or do I go with this other choice with this other person that I could possibly be happy for, and kind of put a wrench in the whole system. It sounded really, really cool and futuristic and interesting, and it's been a long time since I've read one of these older series. There's a certain way that they're like written and they sound, these classic YA books, that I just thought this would be really fun to read. The next book that I got was Graceling by Kristin Cashore. So I had ordered a copy of this, and it came without its dust jacket. The listing said that it was in very good condition because I ordered it off like the Amazon Marketplace or something. And so when I got it, I'm like, this has no dust jacket. I don't consider that as being in very good condition. Like, that's good. Not very good. But so I ended up having to order a new copy, but I finally have it. So the main girl in this has a grace. Their abilities in this world are called a grace, and her grace is killing. So her uncle, the king, uses and exploits her, and she ends up meeting a neighboring prince, and his grace is combat skills and stuff like that. So they end up becoming friends, and she kind of delves more into this political intrigue and finds out that there's a lot more to her ability and everybody's ability, I believe, than what meets the eye. So it sounds really cool and just really fun. So yes, hopefully this one will be going on one of my TBRs soon. The next one that I got is another really, really popular series that seems to get recommended a lot. And that was The Queen of the Tearling by Erica Johansson. I found this one on the Amazon Marketplace. It's on Amazon in general, but they wanted a ridiculous price for it. Wow, this book was expensive. So I went on the Marketplace and got it for like way cheaper. But it's in really, really great condition. It's like new. It does have a remnant mark, so that's probably why. But it sounds really interesting. So the main girl in this, her parents have been killed. She is a princess, and she ends up getting put in hiding. So she doesn't know that she's a princess or that she's going to become a queen. And there are 3 nations, and they all pay dues to this fourth nation where there's a queen. They're known as like the Red Queen, and it sounds really cool and really just a really good like adventure book. This book is recommended a lot by a lot of people. Everybody says it's really great. I think the 3rd book in this series had come out not that long ago. I actually already have the 2nd and the 3rd book in this series. I found them on Book Outlet for super, super cheap, so I ended up having to get them. One of the main things you hear about this book is that there are a lot of epic battles, so that sounds really fun and just really different from a lot of the books that I've been reading lately. I feel like a lot of books have not had a lot of that like massive action-packed adventure sort of stuff, and this sounds like one that will. The next one that I went ahead and grabbed, because I actually already have the 2nd and 3rd book in this series as well, and that was A Great and Terrible Beauty by Libba Bray. So I recently picked up Beauty Queens by Libba Bray, and it sounded really, really neat, and I came across these a while ago, and I didn't realize that they were by the same author at first. But this is the first book in the series. In this book, the main girl, tragedy strikes her family, and she ends up getting sent to a school, and she is not like the other girls. She has visions that tend to come true, and a young boy follows her from where she lived before to this new school that she goes to, and warns her that she needs to block out these visions and not like pay attention to them. Like, you need to close your mind to these visions. When she gets to the school, she ends up attracting a lot of supernatural attention to herself, and she finds out that her mother was involved in this secret shadowy world, and what is known as the Order. So it sounds like there's a lot of intrigue and cool supernatural things set in an older, kind of more Victorian setting. But I thought it sounded really, really cool, and I cannot wait to read this. I have no idea when I'm gonna get around to it though. The last book that I picked up was Uprooted by Naomi Novik. There is going to be another book coming out for this series in a couple months called Spinning Silver. And when I saw that that was coming out, I was like, what is the first book? So I looked it up and it was Uprooted, and this is about a town, and there is a darkness around this town, and there's a wizard there that protects these people, and every 10 years he asks for a sacrifice, basically, for a girl to be sent up to his tower and where he lives. And so the main girl that we follow ends up being the sacrifice for that year. So it sounds really dark and really interesting, kind of almost a Beauty and the Beast sort of vibe to it. I want to read it before the second one comes out. So that was it for my January book haul. There was a lot more books in this than I thought that there was going to be. When I originally filmed this earlier in the month, I had a lot less books, and I thought, this is a pretty decent January book haul. And then I got more books, and so I'm like, yeah, okay. It needs to be redone. So shoot me a comment down below. Let me know if you've read any of these books. I'd love to hear what your guys' thoughts on them were. If you enjoyed this video and you'd like to see more videos with me and all of my books, please be sure to click the like and the subscribe that are down below. You can also click the little bell icon to be notified as to when I've posted a new video. Thank you guys so much for watching. I certainly appreciate it, and I really hope you tune in next time. Bye!